Protect your car with 3W Liners all-weather floor mats. Made from durable materials like TPE and rubber, our mats are designed to withstand rain, snow, and mud with deep grooves to trap dirt and liquids. For a custom fit and advanced protection, visit 3W Liners. That's the number 3, WLINERS.com today. At Acasis, innovation drives us. Since 2008, we've been creating cutting-edge technology products that make your life easier. With a focus on performance, design, and customer service, we're here to help you work smarter, not harder. Join us on our journey to simplify your world. Visit Acasis.com today. That's ACASIS.com today.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farms, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com. Unlock a world of convenience with Mully Box, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. From gourmet snacks to unique finds, each box is tailored to your taste. Experience the joy of surprises. Subscribe today at mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com. We are Rogue Media Sports.
Here it is, back again. Cam Show on Rogue Media Sports Network. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke keeps us on the air every weekday. We are live on YouTube, high noon Eastern time, and then available wherever you get your podcasts and all over the YouTube channel, talking pretty much nothing but Boston sports. Today, we're looking at Patriots draft strategy. If not Carter, if not Hunter, do they take the big risk on Will Campbell? Probably, and we'll tell you why that might not be as bad as we originally thought. Plus, does Chaim Bloom deserve some more credit for this Red Sox team that's kind of about to take the league by storm? Yes, definitely. As a spoiler alert on that one, we'll go over that, as well as the Bruins have a lot to deal with in this offseason. One of those things will probably be to find a new captain. Who would be the captain of next year's Boston Bruins? The answer, I think, is going to surprise you. All that and more coming up on this episode of The Cam Show, powered by Rogue Media Sports Network. We start with the Patriots. Of course, we are just counting down the days till the NFL draft. The Patriots hold that number 4 pick. They should be holding the number 1 pick, but that is old news. That's way old news. But now it's going to bite them in the ass that they don't have the number 1 pick, because Abdul Carter will be off the board, and so will Travis Hunter. And even if you try to trade up, I don't know if you're going to have buyers at 3 or 2, because the most recent report now is that the Browns might take Travis Hunter at 2. So trading up to 3 might not do you any good. You can trade back and get some good value because someone will want to trade up. If Cam Ward or even Shedeur Sanders would be available, but you're probably not going to be able to land either of those guys. And that gets more imminent by the day, more inevitable that you're not going to end up with one of those guys. So one of the popular names still on these mock drafts is Will Campbell. That was the hot name from the beginning. That was the name that we were talking about in about October, November, when it looked like he and Kelvin Banks from Texas were going to be the 2 offensive tackle prospects in the entire draft. And that's where the Patriots need to fill the biggest need, is that offensive line, and get someone to protect Drake May's ass as he is your franchise quarterback. But something happened throughout this season that the scouts didn't love. It wasn't anything to do with Will Campbell's play. The problem was he might not be big enough to play tackle in this league. The 33 inches on the arm length, that's what you need to be a Pro Bowl, all-pro tackle, to really be an NFL tackle in this league. He doesn't measure out to that. He did at his pro day, but not at the NFL Combine. He did at the one that was held on the campus that he's played at for 4 years, but not the one where there's hundreds of prospects coming through and their job is to just get an accurate representation of what these guys are actually measuring out at. But the closer we get to this draft, the more confident I feel that they are going to draft Will Campbell, number 4 overall. Not confident in that's being the great pick, but the more confident I am that they are going to draft Will Campbell. Again, you ask me, I think the best move is still to trade back, get some more draft capital, get a good impact player at 7 or 8, someone like a Walker from Georgia. Maybe Mason Graham falls to you if another team likes the Michigan corner. But finding some value in getting an extra pick, extra premium pick. Instead, the closer we get to it, I think they're going to pick Will Campbell. And I think the biggest reason why they're going to pick Will Campbell is Doug Marrone. Mike Vrabel plays a part in this too, of course. But everything outside of the arms, you love about Will Campbell. Because you take the measurables out of this. The kid was a damn good tackle this year and the year before. And when it came time to play in football, the kid was real good at it. His quarterback didn't get sacked. And he was the best tackle prospect in football when they were playing games. I say this about quarterbacks every year, and I think maybe the same should go for every position. But I'm always wary of those quarterbacks that don't have great draft grades when they're playing games, and then when they get a pro day, they all of a sudden shoot up the board. We see it just about every year. J.J. McCarthy was that guy last year. He was not projected to be a first-round pick when he was actually quarterbacking Michigan and playing more games than anybody else in college football, winning the national championship. He was not picked to be a first-round guy then. But then a couple weeks later, they were like, oh my God, this guy could go inside the top 10. Would the Patriots take a shot at J.J. McCarthy at 3? And you were like, what is happening? Now, the jury's still out on J.J. He didn't play this year. The other guy that is the poster child of this fallacy is Zach Wilson. Good player, kind of an exciting player at BYU, but only starts 1 year. It's the COVID season. It's a run-heavy offense. He does a lot of RPO in it. And then he throws the ball 60 yards on a line in his pro day. And lo and behold, Zach Wilson's number 2 pick in the draft and the savior for the New York Jets. That strike anybody else as odd? Yeah, it happens all the time. But does that carry over to the offensive line? Because Will Campbell, before we knew that his arms were too short to play tackle, he was a really good tackle in the SEC. The best in the country, actually, playing against the best competition that college football has to offer. But the writing is still there. There just aren't guys in NFL history who've overcome that and been top of the line, all-pro left tackles, which is the standard you're looking for when you're picking inside the top 5 of the NFL draft. But again, all the other stuff, other than the measurables, all the intangibles, the non-measurable stuff we love, the PFF grade, what he does on the field, the way he carries himself off it, is known as this great team leader at LSU. He answers everything, kind of the correct way. He has a ton of confidence in himself, which I do like about the kid. He's heard this question a bunch the last 3 months, and he's saying, I don't care how short my arms are. My tape speaks for itself. I'm a damn good football player. Someone's going to find that out, and someone is probably going to get a steal with me. Like, he thinks he's the best player in the draft, which I love. And Mike Vrabel, looking at this thing and talking about a culture shift in this locker room, he sees a leader, he sees a football head, and he sees a guy who's very confident in his own abilities, who's part of a good program at LSU. Not a national championship program, but a good program, and being a big time leader there and taking on, the kind of pressure that comes with being a Louisiana kid and being captain of the LSU football team. I think Mike Vrabel likes all of that. And the thing he likes the most is that he hired Doug Marrone. This is what it comes back to. The Patriots are going to draft Will Campbell because Doug Marrone is their offensive line coach, a guy who has head coaching experience, who has been a damn good offensive line coach in the past. They see a guy like that and they say, we can draft Will Campbell. All the projections are saying he should be a guard. Doug Marrone can make him into a tackle. He's got the skill. We just need to hone a couple of extra things here, a couple of technique things that guys with shorter arms typically can't do. And Doug can do that. And in a weird way, I commend them on that line of thinking. Because to be fair, where I wouldn't draft Will Campbell, and I see that as red flags, they did kind of do that for years with Dante Scarnecchia, the greatest offensive line coach in history. The way they didn't use it on top 5 picks, right? But they saw guys that were kind of run-of-the-mill jag offensive linemen, and they said, we have Dante Scarnecchia here. He can put this thing together. He's the best that we've got. I think that's the same way that Bill Belichick looked at Dante Scarnecchia. I think that's the same way that Mike Vrabel looks at Doug Marrone. Says, man, this guy has cut his teeth doing this for decades in the NFL. He's done it at the highest level. He's run some great offensive line units. I'm not giving him a jag. I'm giving him an ultra talented offensive lineman here. Whether he's a tackle or whether he's a guard, I trust that Doug Marrone can make him a tackle. The second most important position on the field at left tackle. That's why the Patriots are going to draft him number 4 overall. And to me, it is a humongous risk. Even if he's one of the best guards in the game, you don't take a guard in the first round. You definitely don't take him inside the top 5 But I think from all that we have heard from when Mike Vrabel took this job, right? And the accountability in the locker room and the culture in the locker room and the voluntary workouts that aren't necessarily voluntary. Like that all fits what Will Campbell has provided to us, right? Football head, offensive line, in the trenches kind of guy, the place where Mike Vrabel wants to win, and apparently Elliott Wolf wants to win as well. And I feel like Vrabel looks at this and sees some of himself. Vrabel was a defensive end in college who converts to outside linebacker because he wasn't big enough. And he becomes a great pass rushing linebacker. And he looks at his teammate, Teddy Bruschi, who wasn't big enough to play on the defensive line in the NFL the same way he was in college. He becomes a great Mike linebacker. Now, the difference is that Will Campbell, if you're trying to get the best value out of him, wouldn't be able to switch positions, right? Because the most value is at tackle. But I think Mike Vrabel sees that and he's like, you know what? I had the attitude this kid did. I was an Ohio kid playing for Ohio State. He's a Louisiana kid playing for Louisiana State. I know where this kid's coming from. And I had a ton of confidence in my abilities and other teams didn't. And I was playing special teams for the Steelers for years. And, Teddy Bruschi should have been a first-round pick. Instead, he slid because, teams didn't see him at this position. I see a diamond in the rough here. I think Mike Vrabel is leaning on his own experience. For better or for worse, we could be totally right. And we're trusting him, right? And I think he sees a guy in Doug Marrone that can make Will Campbell the left tackle that's worthy of being taken in the top 5. Because the way they've talked about this kid, they have not shut it down. They have not at all. In fact, every time they've spoken about him, they've spoken glowingly about Will Campbell, whether it's Mike Vrabel or Elliott Wolf or even a little bit of Doug Marrone. Just the way they're talking about it, they're going to draft this kid. And I guess for a silver lining for Patriots fans, I think we'd rather have him at 4 than Tet McMillan at 4, right? I think most of us would rather them trade back, get some extra picks, and get a quality guy in the first round and maybe spend on a tackle late in the first round if you can get back into it or in the second round. Because the best news about this is the Patriots will use one of their top 2 picks on a tackle. They've ignored that position for years. They did it under Belichick. They did it under Elliott Wolf last year. They've just thought they could coast by, I guess, because they had Dante, 5-6 years ago. But I think now they realize they can't do that. So that is the silver lining for Patriots fans, is that they will spend a premium pick on offensive tackle. And in all likelihood, I think it's going to be Will Campbell, number 4 overall. I still don't love it. Just the measurables still red flag to me, but I think that's where they're going to go. Is it a disaster? Is it a risk worth taking? Do you see him as an all-pro in the future? Let me know in the comment section below. Let me know if I'm being stupid or not, please. Or if I just look good today, look handsome, because I'm really tired. Anyway, let me know in the comment section below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. We are bringing you nothing but Boston sports content 5 days a week with me, Cam Stewart, your host. Zach Burke keeps us on the air. Check out the other videos on the channel, talking the Patriots and the rest of the Boston sports teams, and find us wherever you get your podcasts as well. The Cam Show is going to roll on. We've got to take an extra minute here because I know I shouldn't be talking about it at this point. It's old news, but this draft thing really pisses me off, man. It really pisses me off that they're picking number 4 and not number 1. I was on this show in a cabin in West Virginia, sick as a motherfucking dog, on New Year's, saying, please, God, lose this game. Like, we've watched you lose the rest of it. We've watched this dog shit for 4 months. Please just lose the last game. And they didn't do it. And like, double worst case scenario from that game. Like, if you were going to tell me leading into that game that not only were the Patriots going to win, but that Joe Milton was going to play really well and his trade stock was going to go up and that you were going to trade him for a 6th round pick, 5th round pick, whatever it was, I'd be like, That's the worst case scenario. That's the worst case. You lose the number 1 pick, and you're probably not getting the best kind of value for Joe Milton. And all of those things turned out to be true. And I bring this up because the reports coming out in the last couple of days about it was Joe Milton forcing a trade and the Patriots doing him a solid and bowing down to him because this kid, this 6th-round pick that's about to be 26 years old, thinks he's going to be the starter over Drake May? Are you kidding me? And the Patriots not having the balls to tell him, no, you're not. And you're going to play in the preseason for us. And hey, if you play well, you can be the backup here. Oh, you want to go to Dallas, a place where you're also not going to start? Yeah, we'll do that. Hey, Jerry, this kid Milton wants to come here. What are you thinking? What are you willing to give us? No. He's being a diva. He wants to force his way out. And there's some other teams that are interested, but he doesn't want to go there. So ball's in your court. Fucking morons. Like, in what world do you not let him play out the preseason and play preseason games in August and wait for a team to get desperate around Labor Day and get a 3rd-round pick for him? This is the world. This is the only world that this happens. This organization. Maybe the Jets would do that. Maybe the Cardinals will do that. But we're talking about worst organizations in the league that pull this kind of move. But that's where the Patriots are at right now. That's what the Patriots are dealing with. You know, the Patriots are not on the same plane organizationally as the Eagles or the Rams or the Chiefs or the Ravens. They're not even close. They're not in the same stratosphere organizationally as those teams. What we need to measure their front office on is not what it was under Bill Belichick or what the best teams in the league are doing. We need to measure their front office against the Cardinals, the Jets, the Browns, the Titans, the Raiders, the Giants, these teams that are picking around you and ahead of you. Those are the organizations you need to measure them against. And that's what's so sad about all this is like a slam dunk move. Any caller into EEI, if you give them this scenario, hey, Joe Milton, remember that? He looked good in that one win. He made some plays in the preseason. He wants to go right now. Do you trade him now or do you wait until the preseason to trade him? Any dipshit sports radio caller is saying, no, tell him to go screw. We'll trade him in August. If I'm not getting a 3rd-round pick out of him, if the offer on the table is a 6th-round pick with the same round that we drafted him in, or a 5th-round pick, which is not much better, I'm saying no, screw. We'll play in the preseason. We'll get your stock up, and then you might have your choice. But we're going to go to the highest bidder here. We're going to go to the 3rd-round pick team. Because the 6th-round pick from a year ago, we don't owe you shit. We do not owe you jack fucking shit. But here are the Patriots bowing down. Okay, Joe. Okay, Joe Milton. Okay, Bazooka Joe. We'll send you wherever you want to go. Just let us know. Because this was not Drake May forcing him out. This was Joe Milton thinking he could be the starter. Delusional. I think I can get with Sydney Sweeney now that she's broken up with her fiance. And he thinks he can be the starter, and you're willing to bow down to him and send him wherever he wants to go. Like, that's pathetic. That is a pathetic organization we're talking about with the New England Patriots, and it's pathetic how Elliott Wolf worked out that deal. Like, trading your 3rd-string rookie quarterback, 6th-round pick guy, like that, there should never be a scenario where you're like, man, what a bad trade, right? Like, the value should be, like, non-existent. But somehow the Patriots even fuck that up. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. Like, who's to say he couldn't, like, if Joe Milton develops, he could have beat up Josh Dobbs for the backup job. And maybe that is the case where you're like, you know what? Actually, this guy is too good. We want him in that quarterback room. Instead, you traded him for nothing because he wanted to go to Dallas, where, by the way, you're not going to be the starter there either. They have the highest paid quarterback in the freaking National Football League. So unless he rolls that ankle again or tears that ACL, You're not starting. But at least he's where he wants to be, I guess. And the Patriots are not where the fans want to be any day of the week. Anyway, that's just a little bit of a taste of what you get on the Cam Show every weekday, high noon Eastern time, live on YouTube, and then wherever you get your podcasts. So check us out on the channel here. Like 90% of you that are watching are not subscribed. So do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like the video. Check out what me, Cam Stewart, and what my producer, Zach Burke, have on deck every day. It's wacky here in the Rogue Media Sports Network. The Cam Show is about to roll on. We've got to talk the Red Sox because Chaim Bloom is a name that came up a lot this weekend. And did he get a raw deal with the Red Sox as we see some of his prospects take over the future of this team? Maybe. That answer, that definitive answer, is next on the Cam Show.
We'll be right back after these quick words from our sponsors. This is Rogue Media Network.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated with style and durability. You can trust Tervis tumblers to keep your drinks the perfect temperature, hot or cold, for hours. From the classic insulated tumblers to sleek stainless steel water bottles, each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
Since our founding, we've been revolutionizing hair removal with cutting-edge technology and a commitment to empowerment. The U-Like Air 3, launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. Experience the future of hair removal today at ulike.com, because at Ulike, beauty is about looking and feeling good. That's ulike.com. Ulike. With Ease US, make studio quality voiceovers for your videos online in over 149 languages and dialects, featuring 468 natural AI voices. Customize the volume, mood, and pauses to perfectly match your content. Plus, capture high quality videos with no watermark. Record your screen, webcam, and voice, and save them instantly to your computer. Never been easier to create professional grade videos and voiceovers. Try it today at easeus.com. That's EASEUS.com. Ease US.
Just use amp pace.
Amp pace.
And now, back to our show.
Welcome back to the Cam Show on Rogue Media Sports Network. How about that? A little bit quicker on the ad breaks. More Cam Stewart, more Zach Burke. Every day, every weekday anyway, live high noon Eastern time on YouTube, and then wherever you get your podcasts. Again, I'm Cam Stewart. Zach Burke keeps us on the air. We're talking nothing but Boston sports 5 days a week, baby. 5 days a week. And we talked about the Patriots and their draft strategy. Will Campbell potentially going number 4 overall. We talked about that in the first segment, as well as that ridiculous Joe Milton trade. Oh, Bazooka Joe will send you wherever you want to go. Pfft, bullshit. Now we're going to talk Red Sox. Winning streak is over for the Red Sox. They lost last night to Toronto. Just one of those nights. Wasn't there. Gloomy. It was literally like in the 30s at game time. Rainy. Disgusting baseball weather. Disgusting. I wouldn't mind if the Red Sox were on the road the first 3 weeks of the season, personally, but maybe that's just me. But something that came up over the weekend I found very interesting. So the Red Sox were playing the Cardinals over the weekend. Cardinals are now generally managed by Chaim Bloom. And there were some comments from, the ESPN crew about how the things that Chaim Bloom is trying to build in St. Louis is on display in Boston right now. And it brings up the question again. Like, did Chaim Bloom get a raw deal with the Red Sox? And this happens all the time where, the fruits of the other GM's labor kind of comes to fruition. Everyone said for years, about 2004, that was Dan Duquette's team. It was Dan Duquette's guys that were coming together. And I thought that was a little ridiculous. Like, Dan Duquette was a good GM, and he did have, Pedro, in a trade. That was one of the great trades in Red Sox history. Manny as a free agent, these kind of guys. But Theo brings in Kurt Schilling in kind of a bold trade. He brings in the closer they sorely lacked the year before, Keith Folk. He does a really ballsy trade, trades Nomar, signed this guy off the street called David Ortiz. That was pretty influential. And by the time Theo wins a second title, we're not necessarily talking about, Dan Duquette's team and Dan Duquette's legacy. We're talking about Dan Duquette's worst quote of all time, most days in first place. And so I say that to say that always happens. Different sports too. The Celtics, they don't win a title under Brad Stevens if they don't have Danny Ainge before. And they probably don't win a title if they don't have Brad Stevens in the seat right now. So that stuff aside, you look at what this team is this year, and it's got Chaim Bloom written all over it. And unlike the Dan Duquette thing, you've got another about 8 to 10 years of Chaim Bloom written all over it. Did Chaim Bloom get a raw deal by getting fired by the Red Sox at the end of the 23 season? Yes, he did. I said it at the time. I stick by it. I don't hate Breslow. I think Breslow's made some good moves. But absolutely, Chaim Bloom got a raw deal. He came in as a wunderkind, right? And his first order of business is to trade the best player on the team, trade the future Hall of Famer, trade the best player in baseball, Mookie Betts. Oh, and by the way, there's maybe like 2 or 3 teams that can afford him. One of them is your biggest rival that's also in the division. And so you're going to have no leverage. He's got 1 year left on his contract. Whoever trades for him is going to want to extend him, and there's only a few teams that can afford to do that. So good luck. Go with God, Chaim Bloom. And look what happened. He didn't get a great return. Wow. Connor Wong's the only guy left, and he stinks. Who could have seen that coming? Anybody could have seen that coming. But you bring in Chaim Bloom in year one, you've got the Mookie Betts trade, you've got COVID, and you've got a problem already with ownership that doesn't want to spend money. At that point, they're already over the luxury tax. There's all these rumors about the Fenway Sports Group not wanting to put out, premium top dollar for the best players. And that was correct. It continued on for years, to the point where a lot of us were killing Craig Breslow last year and the first part of this offseason. What's the constant there between these two GMs? The same ownership, the same money bags. And now there's all these stories about, John Henry's reverse course. He misses when the team was good. He likes being, at the top and getting the best players, and he likes the excitement at Fenway again. Where was that when Chaim was the GM? Because here you had a brilliant baseball mind that knew how to work on a budget, and so you brought him in to work on a budget. And it was bullshit. They didn't give him much of a chance in those 3 to 4 years there. 4 years, I guess. They didn't give him a chance. Not a real one. He got the checkbook one time, really. And it wasn't a great signing, Trevor Story, right? He didn't have an injury history at that point, but he has one now. And so that's a tough one to judge a GM on. It wasn't Pablo Sandoval being out of shape or Carl Crawford just forgetting how to play baseball. It was a guy who just suddenly gets hurt, and it looks like a bad deal, and it is. But you look at the roster now and what it's going to be in the near future, that's Chaim Bloom, brother. This guy who is knocking the shit out of the baseball in the first week and a half of the season, Wilyer Abreu, who's this revelation. Chaim Bloom traded half a season of Christian Vasquez for Wilyer Abreu, team-controlled Wilyer Abreu. I think the Red Sox won that deal. I think Chaim Bloom won that deal. Correct me if I'm wrong. Or how about the kid Christian Campbell, huh? Wonder who discovered him in the 4th round of the draft. Oh, yeah, Chaim Bloom. Or how about this number 1 prospect in baseball that's ready to come up any day as the future of your franchise? Comp pick because he made a good move in letting Xander Bogaerts walk and take a deal that's going to take him through age 40 to be the shortstop in San Diego. Everyone was killing him for it at the beginning. You remember that? Oh, they should have signed him to an extension earlier. You already picked Xander Bogaerts over Mookie Betts, and I don't think that was a great move. I love Xander Bogaerts, great player, and still was till the end of his time in Boston. But that was the right move to let him walk, and you got a comp pick out of it that becomes the number one prospect in baseball. That's Chaim Bloom. And the rest of your farm system, he takes over, and they are so far removed from being a good farm system. They're 30th in everything, but it was so bad, you might as well have had him 31st. Team A at 29th, blank space 30th, Red Sox 31st. Because that's what Dave Dombrowski does. He got your farm system, you won a World Series. Chaim Bloom comes into that to then 1 year after he's gone. They have the best trio of position player prospects that any team has had in a generation. Chaim Bloom did that. By the way, Marcelo Meyer, the third guy in that trio, Chaim Bloom, that was one of his best picks, and it was just by not overthinking it. Everyone wanted Jack Leiter. I wanted Jack Leiter. I cussed at a public place when I saw that the Rangers picked Jack Leiter a pick ahead of the Red Sox. And Chaim Bloom looks at it and says, you know what? The best player projected in this draft was Marcelo Meyer. Shocked he didn't go number one. He's there at number 4. Pick him. And here he is. One step from the majors. Him and Roman Anthony just tearing it up in the minor leagues. So yeah, Chaim Bloom did get a raw deal by going into a shit sandwich of a situation and having to trade the best player in baseball. Having an ownership group that wasn't ready to spend money at that time, was going to be as cheap as holy hell, and for them to fire him before they opened the checkbook up again. Because a year of Craig Breslow, another guy who they really like, one of their own, they look and they say, we're not getting any better. Maybe our general manager needs some money to spend. And I'm glad that it happened when it did, or that it happened at all. But it does suck that that did not happen for Chaim Bloom, because I really believed in what Chaim Bloom was doing. Again, was it all perfect? No. Corey Kluber, for example, didn't love that. Or just the fact that he didn't necessarily work out a good enough bullpen over his time with the team, especially in like 2022. The Kike Hernandez extension, didn't like that from the beginning. The Masa Yoshida deal doesn't look too great right about now. But, you got some great value out of guys like Kenley Jansen, out of Chris Martin, out of Justin Turner. I didn't like that you let him walk. You obviously had the great deal for William Abreu. We were killing him at the time for the Hunter Renfroe for Jackie Bradley deal, which wasn't great at the end of the day. But you look at Hunter Renfroe, it's a guy who plays for a new team every year. Clearly there's something up there. So even the bad deals, you have to take into context, like that one, Hunter Renfroe going a new place every season, or the Mookie Betts deal of you had zero leverage. So you can find all kinds of very easy context clues on the surface for why the Chaim Bloom bad deals weren't as bad as we thought. And again, I like Craig Breslow too, not as much as I liked Chaim, but he pulled off a pretty good deal yesterday for Quinn Priester, a guy we traded for last year, but one that wasn't going to fit into this rotation, right? He got plenty of chances in spring training, didn't work out. You had to go down to starters 6 and 7 anyway, and you took a flyer on Sean Newcomb and liked him better than Quinn Priester. And Richard Fitz looks like a guy who's going to be a pivotal part of your rotation going forward, no matter what the injuries are for the other starters. So you were able to flip that guy for a top 10 prospect in the Brewers system, a player to be named later, and some cash for a team with the worst ERA in the league. You kind of held them over a barrel. Worst ERA in the league. They're terrible, this pitching staff. And you've got a guy that you're like, he might be a major leaguer. But to you, he's a lot better than what you've got right now. How about that 19-year-old top 10 prospect in your system? And maybe we'll give credit to Breslow in a couple of years for building up some of these guys at the lower level of the system. A guy like Juan Valera, I believe was him, but it could have been the end of Chaim Bloom. But you look at the guys that are ready to make an impact on the roster right now, and the guys you are extending right now, Chaim Bloom, baby. Cedon Rafaela, Chaim Bloom. Brian Bayo, Chaim Bloom. Christian Campbell, Chaim Bloom. And some of the other mainstays in your everyday lineup, like picked out and developed through Chaim Bloom's system. Wilyer Abreu, more or less, right? He was still a minor leaguer when you traded for him for maybe the best deal of the decade if Wilyer continues anywhere near this pace. Tristan Casas, it's a Chaim Bloom guy. He's up on your everyday roster, batting cleanup. Right? I have no doubt Chaim Bloom would have made a deal for Garrett Crochet, which also factors into Chaim Bloom because you had the prospects to trade for Garrett Crochet because Chaim drafted them. He drafted Kyle Teal in the first round. Okay? You had that kind of flexibility because of Chaim Bloom. I also don't doubt that Chaim Bloom would have gotten a guy like Alex Bregman if he had the money available, but he didn't. So now Craig Breslow is going to look way better. But this is all going to show, and you'll see it for the next 8 to 10 years, that Chaim Bloom did get a raw deal. And I wish him well in St. Louis, but if that becomes a team that is a force to be reckoned with for years to come, you can only look inward for letting that guy go. But Craig Breslow is going to get by, at least in the early days, by locking up Chaim Bloom's guys for 8 to 10 years. Anyway, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Did Chaim Bloom get a raw deal here? Should he still be the general manager of the Boston Red Sox? Let me know in the comments. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke keeps us on the air 5 days a week, talking nothing but Boston sports. Check out the other videos on the channel, talking the Red Sox and all the other teams. Again, live on YouTube, high noon every weekday, and then wherever you get your podcasts. The Cam Show is going to roll on. We've got to talk Bruins. We've got to talk Bruins captain and who that's going to be next on the Cam Show.
We'll be right back after these quick words from our sponsors. This is Rogue Media Network.
I don't know, if Bubble wasn't here, I don't know what people would be doing, like making PowerPoints or something. Bubble allows you to make it real and for it to actually work. So I feel like Bubble bridges that gap and being able to give people the opportunity to make their ideas come to life really quickly too. I love that I can sit down and build something the way that I think it should be built and have the control over it.
Bubble turns ideas into fully scalable apps. Try Bubble today.
Hi, I'm Jo from Face Theory. You're going to want to have a specific goal for your skincare routine. What do you want to achieve? Active ingredients are really strong, and if you're using too many at once, your skin can get overwhelmed. Don't overspend on products. Choose products that have scientific research behind them. At Face Theory, if you're not happy with a product, just say so, just give us a shout and we'll give you your money back, no problem.
I know you're gonna love this Kodak Dot Plus printer. You guys just connect it to your smartphone and then you're gonna use the Kodak Photo Print app. It's going to print you a 4x6 photo. I am just in awe. I love how these turned out. Also, the printer comes with a free cartridge of 10 photo sheets. I can assure you, you are going to love this printer as much as my family has. You guys have to check it out for yourself.
Streamline event and appointment booking with Amelia's sleek, modern, and fully customizable booking forms. Tailor the colors, fonts, and design to match your brand and seamlessly integrate with your WordPress website. Whether it's for events or appointments, Amelia makes booking simple, stylish, and perfectly aligned with your business. Enhance your booking experience today at WPAmelia.com. That's WPAMELIA.com. Amelia.
And now, back to our show.
Welcome back to it. It's the Cam Show on Rogue Media Sports Network. Cam Stewart, Zach Burke keeps us on the air. We're going to hear from Zach in a few minutes here. Whoa, hold your horses, Zach. A few minutes here. We're bringing you live Boston sports content on YouTube every weekday, high noon Eastern time, and then available wherever you get your podcasts. We've talked Patriots. We've talked Red Sox. Time to talk a little bit of Bruins here because they're really moving the needle this time of year. They have a loss tonight against the New Jersey Devils, thankfully. Keep them in that top 5 of the NHL draft here, at least hopefully. But I do want to look ahead towards next year, because that's what you got to do. You got to look towards the future for this Bruins team. This is going to be a hectic offseason for the Bruins, and they need to change a lot. One of those things is they're probably going to need to change their captain, because as Rick Pitino might say, Brad Marchand is not walking through that door. Zdeno Chara is not walking through that door, and Patrice Bergeron is not walking through that door, because Brad Marchand's not coming back. I wouldn't mind if he did. It's kind of a figurehead thing at the right money, at the right cap hit, but he's not coming back. I don't think things ended well at all here in Boston. So now you got to look for a new captain and a new era, like truly, like you are rebuilding, you're retooling. This is a lot like what you had to deal with when you brought in Zdeno Chara ahead of 06-07. He comes in, you make him the captain because you knew you needed that new guy at the top. Now, maybe for the Bruins, you already have that guy in the locker room. Maybe. Because, I don't think you're going to go out and make a giant free agent splash this summer as much as they probably need to. I don't think that's going to happen. And on the flip side, of maybe having the guy in the room, these guys were also in the room for this bad season, this toxic season. But a couple of them were in there for a team that went to the Stanley Cup final. A couple of them were in the locker room for the greatest regular season team of all time. And I do mean a couple, because there's not many. But I wonder if the Bruins have their next captain in the room right now. And obviously the guys that it comes down to are Charlie McAvoy and David Pastrnak. I think Nikita Zadorov should be an alternate captain. His play is not that great, but he is clearly showing some leadership ability on and off the ice, and the players respect him and listen to him. And I like that he's not afraid to call out Jeremy Swayman's bullshit. I like that a lot, actually. So don't be surprised if Nikita Zadorov is wearing an A next year. But captain, Charlie McAvoy or David Pastrnak? A couple months ago, if you had asked me this, I would have said, yeah, Charlie McAvoy, right? You just, he plays a 200-foot game. He played his college hockey in Boston. He's been in the city for a long time. He kind of came in right away and was able to hit the ground running with this team. And as much as we don't like to admit this, unfortunately, it is probably part of the case, is there are still teams around the league that prefer a North American captain, just because of, I don't know, language thing, I guess. But, the Bruins had a pretty good foreign captain for a long time in Zdeno Chara, and David Pastrnak speaks pretty good English. But I just would have thought McAvoy. They just gave off more of, a captain vibe, the way he plays a physical game, kind of that Bruin style of hockey, whereas David Pastrnak is one of the most skilled players in the league. But you look at the NHL, and you see all over the place, there are guys where you're like, really? That's the best vocal leader they've got on the team? Or is he just the best player? Connor McDavid in Edmonton. Austin Matthews in Toronto. Taking the C off of Johnny Tavares, who is a longtime veteran. The guy's been playing in the league 15, 16 years. So you see that and you're like, maybe that is different. Austin Matthews being the captain for Team USA. It's like, And you saw it sparingly in the past. Guys like Gretzky was probably not the best vocal leader on the team, but he was the best player and they followed his lead. I think that's what could happen with David Pastrnak here. And I guess it's a knock against Charlie McAvoy that he's been out for the last 2 months here since the Four Nations break. That's obviously not his fault, but you've seen this team go through a lot of shit since then. And it's been David Pastrnak with the microphone in his face, and it's been David Pastrnak who is literally carrying this team. He's had a part in each of the Bruins' last 11 goals, a franchise record. They can't do anything positive on the ice unless David Pasternak's out there. He's about to score 100 points for this dog shit, bottom of the Eastern Conference, whale shit hockey team. And for as much as he is kind of the star, this silky, only cares about offense, flashy kind of player, with the Barbie girl song and the sunglasses and the weird hats and everything. The guy never gets himself into any trouble, on or off the ice. I think he's he's been better with the puck this year than in years past. And the turnover numbers still aren't great, but you also got to realize what he has to carry for this team and how shit they are. And he's about to enter into his prime. He's been on this team for 10 years. He's seen a retool before. He's been to the cup final. He's seen what it's like when they're the President's Trophy winners a couple of times. And night in, night out, you are going to get one hell of a performance from David Pastrnak. I didn't think a few months ago, it would be him. I thought it would be Charlie McAvoy. But if I had to pick a captain for this team right now going into next year, I'm saying David Pastrnak. He's handled the shitstorm around him. He quashed, in the media, whatever beef he supposedly had with Brad Marchand. He is your highest paid player. He is the face of your franchise. I think there's no problem putting the C on his uniform. And if you want to take the toughness thing into account, because no one's saying like, ooh, David Pastrnak, big tough guy. It's not the first thing you think of, right? Look back in the playoffs last year. Matthew Tkachuk, at the end of a blowout, challenges him and challenges his team. And Matthew Tkachuk, as much as I might like him for Team USA, he takes runs at goalies and guys that don't fight. And he took a run at David Pastrnak. And I think to Pasternak's credit, and he got shit for this last year, because he's the star player and he shouldn't be getting in fights in the middle of a playoff series. He said, you know what? Fuck you. I will fight you. Asked Montgomery permission. He says, I'm not going to let us get pushed around here. I'm not going to let Matthew Tkachuk on the other side say, hey, I'm going to pick on the weakest link so that I can show my toughness. And he lost the fight, right? And he got his shit kicked in. But he's saying, I'm not running from this, and we're not running from this. And they showed some backbone at the end of that series, right? He also, in the series before, gets called out in the media by his coach. Jim Montgomery says before Game 7, Pastas needs to step up. He doesn't say anything in the media. He doesn't bitch about his coach. He goes out there and he scores the game-winning overtime goal in Game 7. He stepped up. Wouldn't mind if it's Charlie McAvoy. I still love Charlie McAvoy, and I think you need a big bounce-back season from him. But if you're talking about a standard on this team of showing up every night, putting out maximum effort and putting up points and keeping your team in games and keeping your bad team in playoff contention for most of the season, maybe that's what makes David Pastrnak your captain. Maybe that's the example we should all be striving for and following within this Bruins organization. McAvoy or Pastrnak? I'm sure this is something we'll revisit a couple of times in this offseason, which has already started for all intents and purposes. Let me know who you would give the captain's C to. Let me know in the comment section below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Check out the other videos out on the channel on YouTube. We are here live on YouTube every weekday, high noon Eastern time, and then available wherever you get your podcasts. Zach Burke keeps us on the air. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Zach, if I could get you in here real quick before we go. God, my nose is itchy.
Yeah, you okay? I see that you've been...
Is the mic on? Or is it on the right thing? I can hear you, but it sounds like almost the laptop speaker.
That's what it is. 1 second.
God, yeah, my nose just...
Keep talking. I'm going to change out the audio.
Okay, because I want to explain to you, this is going to be terrible without the optics, of actually seeing this thing. I'm going to try to explain to you the thing that almost put me into a complete fit of road rage. Look at this allergies, man. That's what it's got to be. I look like I'm high as hell. But anyway, first off, I got to drop the dog off at daycare today because we're going away this weekend, so we need to get her used to a daycare. And the thing is in the city. It's 11 miles away. And my trip there and back, 22 miles, took 2.5 hours this morning. After staying up to working until 2 a.m. doing my new show, NHL Game Night, on the Locked On Podcast Network last night, where we give you all the scores and storylines from every NHL game.
There we go. Does that sound better?
It sounds great.
Okay.
And so on this drive, Zach, I want to lay this out for you because I was so mad. I was so pissed. I road rage, not like pulling out a gun or anything. I just get mad. So we're at this intersection, okay? I'm third in line in the intersection. And then just beyond the intersection, maybe 2 or 3 car lengths, is railroad tracks. And a train is coming by. Okay, so we know we're going to be stopped there for a couple minutes. So there's a car at the stoplight, one in front of me, and then me. Or a second one in front of me and then me. So the second car, the one in between, is trying to take a right. Doesn't have enough room. So she's kind of gently beeping at the person like, hey, can you move up a little bit so I can just take a right? And they do that. But also there's only stop signs coming the other way. So these people can come on by. And so this person moves up halfway through the intersection so that this person can go right. And I leave plenty of room. I'm like, okay, you could back into it if you want, like you're out in the intersection. And they don't do it for some reason. It was weird. But then this car pulls up on the right, which is a bike lane.
Okay.
And I almost felt bad for like half a second. I was like, oh, shoot, sorry. This person's trying to take a right. I should try to get out of their way. Nope. This person is not trying to take a right. They are just taking the empty space. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? You just like went up on a curb to get in an extra space when we're at a red light and a railroad crossing? Like, what does that do for you, you bitch? I was like screaming. I was like, you stupid bitch. What are you doing? So anyway, did I lay that out well enough?
Yeah, I think so. That I don't know, but she just wanted to be on the starting line with everybody else.
Fuck you. She probably passed like 4 cars to do it, by the way. She was not right behind me. It's like, what a bitch, man.
The one that always gets me, I don't know why this made me think of it, is like when you see like there's construction ahead and you see the light like that's telling you to get over to another lane. And so I do preemptively because I'm like, oh, well, we're going to need to get over. And somebody just zooms ahead like all the way up to that sign and then like turns on their blinker and tried to force themselves up in front of everybody.
Never let those people in.
No, come on. You saw it coming with me too. You find where to come in back there. You don't make us find a way to zipper you in. You find a way to zipper it.
And that is the ultimate life lesson of like things are too good to be true, because I think you and I are on the same plane here. Like if you're seeing that and you're like, this is a 3-lane highway. It shouldn't be this crowded right now. My first instinct is a lane is closed. And all these people are moving over. Pff, suckers. I'm going to blow right past them. No, you're a fucking moron.
There's a reason why they're moving over.
And there was a ton of that on the way home because there was a lane closed and construction on the highway, and people were doing it on the right side in the breakdown lane. I'm like, what is wrong with you people? You're going to save maybe 30 seconds? Like, we're all in this shit too.
Yeah.
Anyway, did you do anything fun this morning, Zach? Anything fun last night?
No. What was last night? I'm trying to think.
Did you watch a basketball game?
Yeah, I watched a little Houston, Florida. Had to see Florida win, obviously, but
hilarious last possession.
Yeah, absolutely hilarious. I'm trying to think what I watched. I didn't watch anything last night. Yeah, no, I was boring last night. Nothing super exciting. I'm getting ready for playoffs, both hockey and basketball. My teams are both doing really well.
How about that?
I did not expect this in both instances. I mean, the Senators are the first wild card team. Granted,
they play Columbus tonight,
I think so. Yeah. Granted, it looks like if it were to end today, it's a first round series against the Leafs, but still.
Yes, because the Leafs are going to win that division.
Yeah.
But they're going to win tonight too.
And then the Rockets are the second best team in the West. Like
still.
Yeah. I didn't expect that.
I thought they would fade. I think it looked like a playoff team, but I did think they would fade.
I thought they would too. I'm hoping that this isn't them peaking right before they get into the playoffs, which it could be, and then they get a first round exit, which a young team like that. A lot of
guys who've not played playoff games. Yep. Yeah. Pretty much all of them.
A young team like that in a playoff series against.
And by the way, a guy who I think is a great coach, but has only coached in 1 playoffs.
That's very true as well.
Did make the finals. So that's the silver lining for you.
And then here's what I'll bring up to you, and we can discuss this later this week, but I want to get your opinion as a basketball guy.
These shorter commercial breaks, I need more content.
I know. So I told this to Pete, and I don't know if I told you to. I'm rereading that Blood in the Garden book about the 90s Knicks.
Yep.
I have a new theory from reading this. I don't think that Pat Riley is as great of a head coach as everybody says he is.
Really?
Yes. Not to say that.
Is this something you want to tease for a different segment, or do you want to like just give it?
We can go into it more because I've talked it. I'll tease it and we can talk about it another day this week. But
hell yeah,
I'll just argue in LA, he inherited a system that was already there. He got kind
Paul
of.
Westhead. Yeah. Nope. That was Paul Westhead's system, like run and gun.
In New York, he got to do what he wanted to. Didn't finish it off. Was only there.
Was that
3 years, 4 seasons, maybe?
Who did he replace with the Knicks?
He replaced. Ooh, dang it! Because it starts right off with him joining. Let me look at this because I don't remember now. Here we go. I forgot Jeff Hornacek coached him. Was it Patino? No, not right before. John was John McLeod, Stu Jackson before that. It was okay. So Patino 87-89, then Stu Jackson for a year, then John McLeod for a year, then Pat Riley.
So just a couple of placeholders.
Yeah, but I mean, he got to go into New York and still what he wanted to.
Patino was probably replacing Hubie.
Patino was replacing Bob Hill, who replaced Hubie.
Yeah, see, I'm close.
Well, hold on. Close. Well, Hubie was fired in 86, so I guess Bob Hill finished out 86 and did 87. Yeah.
Because I knew he coached Bernard King. So
yeah,
let's go in depth into this either tomorrow or Thursday.
That works for me, just because like he did what he wanted to, but then once he gets to Miami, like he doesn't want another title till LeBron comes around.
Yeah, and by that point he's running the team.
That's true. He's not coaching.
I guess he coached in 06, right, when they won.
Yes, that one I think with.
But now you're talking about that.
Well, no, it was still Spoelstra, I think there then.
I don't think it was. But he's running the team. Okay, I've got some thoughts, but I want to save this.
Okay, we'll save it. But yeah, no, I want us to take a look.
Because I don't like Pat Riley, by the way. But
I don't. The book that I'm reading, like the things that he does, is just some of the hammiest.
And I don't like Adrian Brody.
If you. Oh, because he plays in winning time. Yeah. But all right, we'll save it. But yeah, that's what I wanted to get in at some point in time this week.
The Celtics fans are going to eat that up watching this channel. So
yeah,
Zach
just
Burke,
us shitting on Pat Riley.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and he hates Boston plenty. So Zach, thank you. I appreciate that. That's Zach Burke. I'm Cam Stewart. We're going to be live on YouTube tomorrow. I fucking guarantee it. High noon Eastern time, and then wherever you get your podcasts on a little ditty called The Camp Show.
Transform your workspace with Hanomi Ergonomics. From adjustable chairs to standing desks, we provide solutions for comfort and productivity, whether at home or in the office. Improve your posture, reduce strain, and work smarter. Visit us at hanomi.co today. That's HINOMI.co today. Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internex. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. Enjoy seamless, fast storage without compromising security. Visit Internex.com today and take control of your digital life. That's INTERNXT.com today. Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com. Tusanes, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Committed to excellence, we adopt a user-centric approach guided by ergonomics and medical science. With a team of seasoned professionals in R&D, design, and manufacturing, we prioritize quality across our entire product line. Visit Tusains.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com.